If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you're someone who's naturally on the skinnier side and who's looking to gain some weight and some muscle. Maybe you feel like you've been eating as much food as you can and working out so many days a week, but can't seem to be getting anywhere with it. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to understand how to actually gain weight, and I'm going to give you some pieces of advice to maximize your chances of success. Before we talk about how to practically gain weight, we first need to talk about how weight gain and weight loss actually works. Although there's a lot of different variables that can affect what people's bodies look like, at the most basic level, our weight is the product of thermodynamics. What I mean by that is that it's the relationship between the calories that we take in and the calories that we spend. So, if you are taking in a bunch of calories and you're not spending that many calories, you're going to be in a calorie surplus, which means that your body is going to store that extra energy. On the flip side, if you're spending a lot more calories or more energy than you're taking in, your body is going to tap into the energy levels that it has stored, and you're going to lose weight over time. So, what that means at the most basic level is that if you're not gaining weight, that you are failing to be in a calorie surplus. What that means is that your activity level might be too high and your caloric intake might be too low. And I know what you're thinking, but dude, I eat so much food. I literally eat 7,000 meals a day, 4 billion calories. I eat a gallon of ice cream every night before I go to sleep, and I'm still not gaining weight. And I hear you, and I understand because I've been there. For most of my life, I've been a naturally skinnier kid. For basically all of high school, I was really skinny. And I thought that I was eating a ton. Like, I thought that I should be like 200 something pounds with how much food I was eating. But when you really went down into the details, I could see that I wasn't actually eating as much as I thought. I would just eat a really big meal and think that I was eating a lot more food, if that makes sense. So, the hard truth is that if you're not gaining weight, you're not eating enough. And so you may be thinking, well, how do I eat more? I feel like I'm eating as much as I can. Well, let me give you some advice for how you can actually get more calories in every day. Your first question might be, well, how many calories am I supposed to eat? I just eat as many as I can and see what happens. Well, the easiest way to figure that out is just to go online and to search up a calorie calculator. Basically, it's going to use a formula using your age, your weight, your height, and your activity level to give you an idea of how many calories you need to eat each day to be able to maintain weight, gain weight, or lose weight. What I would personally recommend is to choose whatever calorie range gives you a mild weight gain, anywhere from a quarter of a pound a week to half a pound a week. Anything more than that, and you're really just going to be gaining fat. So once you know how many calories you're supposed to eat every day, how do you eat that much? If that feels like a pretty high number, how are you going to actually be able to accomplish this? Well, the first and the biggest piece of advice that I have for you is just to eat more meals in the day. Our culture really has us eating 3 meals every day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, if you're a pretty active teenager, you might be looking at about 3,000 calories every day to be able to gain weight. And so that leads to about 1,000 calories for each meal, which really is a lot. If you're not eating really processed foods or really sugary foods, you're going to have a pretty hard time eating that in 3 meals. So the way to go around that is just to eat more meals throughout the day. So like I said, for 3 meals, that would be 1,000 calories per meal. For 4 meals, that would be about 750 for each meal, a lot more manageable. And for 5 meals, that's only 600 calories for each meal, which will feel a lot more manageable. You won't feel like you're stuffing your face, and you'll just be able to eat gradually throughout the day. I personally think that eating more meals throughout the day is going to work wonders for you to be able to eat more calories every day. Another piece of advice that I would have for you is to eat more calorie dense foods. If you're having trouble eating enough calories every day, the issue is probably that you feel like you're eating a ton of food, but that it's not enough calories. And so one of the ways to get around that while not having to stuff your face even more is to eat food that is more calories per bite, per se. For the same volume of food, just has more calories in it. so you can be at the same level of fullness but to have even more calories in your stomach. Obviously, don't go overboard with this. Use this with discretion. But you can use foods with a lot of carbs, foods with fats to your advantage. I like to put a good bit of butter in the pan when I'm cooking eggs or cooking some sort of meal, because that adds a lot of calories to the meal that has the same amount of food, no matter how much butter I put in it. But yeah, if you're eating foods that are the same volume as you ate before, but they have more calories in it for that same volume, you're going to be able to make great progress in how much you're eating. Another tip that I would have for you, kind of on that note, is to take advantage of liquid calories. Another tip that I would have for you on that note is to make use of liquid calories. That could be smoothies, protein shakes, soft drinks, lemonade, tea, whatever. While this can be really detrimental for people who are trying to lose weight, this can be a very helpful tool when you're trying to gain weight, because liquid calories, like in a Dr. Pepper or some sort of soda, are not going to really make you any more full compared to what drinking water would, but it's going to put a lot more calories in your system, have a lot more energy. So it almost feels like you're getting calories for free, out of nowhere. The last piece of advice I would have for you is just to know yourself, kind of know how your body typically behaves. I know for me personally and for some others, when you eat a really, really big meal, like you feel really stuffed, that can kind of throw me off for the rest of the day, where I don't feel hungry like 4 or 5 hours later because I just ate so much. And as far as total calories throughout the day, eating that much really could do more harm than good for something like that. So just manage yourself. Come up with a good system that you know works well for you, a good routine, and just stick to that routine. If you are consistent with that over a long period of time, I'm confident that you will see results. Now that we talked about the most important part of weight gain, which is what you eat and how you eat, let's talk about the secondary part, but equally important for gaining muscle is the training side of it. If you do all this work but don't train well, you're going to really just be gaining fat. So it's really important to be navigating the way that you're training to be able to ensure that you're actually gaining muscle. With everything that I said about eating, it's important to be eating a lot of protein, because protein is going to be the integral part for gaining muscle. And if you're not gaining muscle, when you do all this work, you're just going to gain a lot of fat. So the biggest question that you might have is, how do I train? What do I do? What split do I use? What exercises do I use? What rep ranges? How many days a week? Whatever. And I'm not going to give you a specific guideline for how to do all those things, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much. There are definitely nuances to it. There's definitely things that work better than others. But at the end of the day, for most people, consistency is going to be the most important factor by far. Someone who's consistent and doing a suboptimal routine is going to be making much better results than someone who has the optimal routine but only shows up half the time or gives half effort the whole time. So think about showing up consistently as the first step. Now, the first step with that is, how many days a week are you going to work out? Well, how many days a week can you go to the gym consistently in the long term and not burn out? Maybe that's 3. Maybe that's 4, maybe that's 5, maybe that's 7. I don't know. But find that routine, find that system that works really well for you and stick to it. So if 3 days a week is really what you need to be able to be consistent, just do 3. 3 days a week can make great results for you. Now, as far as how to train specifically, there's not any golden split, any golden exercises that are going to make you gain 20 pounds of muscle. But as a basic rule of thumb for how you should train moderately heavy with heavier loads. Don't be curling 5-pound dumbbells and just doing 1,000 reps. You should train moderately heavy in somewhat low rep ranges. Anywhere from 5 to 10 is a really good range. Close to failure. You can train to failure if you'd like, but the most important thing is that it's close to failure, maybe within 2 to 3 reps, 2 to 4 reps of failure, and progressively overloading over time. So don't do the same weight for 3 months. You should be increasing reps, increasing weight, increasing training volume over time. If you do all of those things well for 3 months while you're eating consistently, you're going to make great results. And that's a guarantee. If you want to learn anything more about how to train specifically, you want more details, or you want more examples of what training can look like, check out some of the other videos on my page. I talk more about weight loss and talk about weight gain, talk about exercises and the most optimal things that you can be doing. So feel free to check those things out if you want more information about that. But at the core, those are the most important principles for you to be adhering to while you're training. So to summarize what we talked about, you need to find out how many calories you need to eat every day using a calorie calculator. Increase the number of meals that you're eating every day. Eat more caloric dense foods. Eat a lot of protein. Use liquid calories to your advantage. Know your body. Train hard. Train heavy through a deep range of motion in a moderately low rep scheme, close to failure, progressively increasing your weight over time, and you're going to see great results if you are consistent. Again, consistency is the most important part of all of this. So, hope you enjoyed. Hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out some of the other videos on my page that I have compared that talk more about this. And yeah, thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.